Have you considered anybody as a running mate? Because I think there are.
Oh yeah, of course I have.
I mean, I know you mentioned Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
I'll tell you who people. Of course, I mentioned Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And getting Robert to commit now is hard. It's a difficult thing, and especially to leave the Democrats. But I would certainly entertain him. I love Cynthia McKinney. I love Cynthia because she's got guts. You can't intimidate her.
Absolutely.
And, that's what I love about her. Chelsea Gabbard, the military girl,
Tulsi Gabbard.
who's opposed to these regime change wars. I stand with her 100% on that. Opposed to them, regime changing wars. They're ridiculous. It's colonialism. And she would make a great running mate. There's a lot of good people out there. Preferably to win. Here's the fun one. If I went out to truly win, everybody laughed at me. A couple of years ago, I said I wanted Howard Stern. And everybody laughed. Oh, that's funny. I was serious, and I'll tell you why. Howard Stern could raise you more money than anyone. Plus, Sirius Radio isn't governed by the FCC, so you could run your entire campaign on his show every day right up to the election. And if you told the Howard Stern listeners to go out and get 10 people to vote for us, you don't think they would? Of course they would. And then here's the most important thing of the deal, is you need a vice president who's so despicable that they won't kill you and put him in.
Yeah.
So you need someone, then Howard Stern would fit that perfect. The problem was Howard wouldn't do it, so I now call him laughingly, he's still a great friend, but I call him laughingly Hampton Howard now because he's been won over because he lives in the Hamptons. If this would have been the Howard of 30 years ago, he'd have did it.
He does seem like he's become sort of, in that establishment
he's
liberal
Hampton
vein.
Howard, man. He's got the good life. He's Hampton Howard. I still commend him. He's out saving animals, he and his wife, and all that. Kudos to him. Good job done, Howard. But if it would have been the Howard of 30 years ago, I'd have had my running mate. And also, he keeps you clean on money. Can you imagine if he said to his listeners, we need $50 from all of you? Well, that saves me from having to sell out, and I can still maintain and not take any special interest money.
Makes sense.
See, people need to understand there's always a method to Jesse's madness.
I think we all know that by now.
I hope so. But no, I was dead serious about Stern. He would be the perfect running mate for me, not for anyone else, but for me, because he fulfills everything I would need to win. I mean, can you imagine having his radio show right up till Election Day?
Yeah,
that's
true.
Power, man. And I was, what I would do now to tempt him to get him on board with me if I ran?
What?
Here's what I'd do now. I'd say, Howard, if you support me, completely raise money for me and do all that, when I win, I will make you the head of the FCC.
That would be pretty awesome, actually.
That might tempt him, but here's the deal that would be good on it. Howard, everyone would think, oh my goodness, there goes Howard. The FCC is going to stand for nothing. All you're going to hear is swear words over the radio now, blah, 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 right? No, you have Howard come in and he cracks down worse than ever. And you know why he does that? Because then everyone will get ticked off. They won't want to listen to that type of radio. They'll listen to Sirius, and Howard will make more money. By cracking down on regular radio, it'll push all the normal people over to Sirius where you got to pay for it. Well, Howard's part owner of the thing, I think. So he'd make more money. That's how you do it in the typical Democrat way or Republican way. The payola. Howard, I'll make you the head of the FCC.
I'm curious. There was somebody else who was running this year who a lot of young people got excited about, and that's former Senator Mike Gravel. There's actually a whole side story there too with him and Howie Hawkins, because something that happened was a campaign came out with Mike Gravel's name on it, asking people to donate to Howie Hawkins. When I had Mike Gravel on the show, he said that he didn't even know who Howie Hawkins was. But something else I wanted to ask you about today was Howie Hawkins. Are you endorsing him?
No, I don't know much about him, and so I haven't endorsed anybody else in that regard.
Do you know who Howie Hawkins is?
Well, he sent me some emails, but I haven't read them. I've just been so busy with so many emails that I get. So, to my knowledge, no, I haven't endorsed him, and I don't know what he represents in that regard.
Okay, because there was an email that went out from your campaign, or addressed from your campaign, that was asking people to donate to the Howie Hawkins campaign. Did you know about that email?
No, I didn't. And you have to understand that my campaign was run by teenagers, and on a couple of occasions they can endorse who they want as individuals, but they don't necessarily bind me on any endorsements in that regard.
But when I had him on again later, he said that he was very supportive of you, thought that you would be a great candidate.
With respect to Jesse, I respect him. I think he's a very interesting person and has taken some very interesting positions. So I would not, I think that if he were to jump into the green race, he would have an edge, because he is nationally known as a political figure and a progressive figure. And I've recognized that he, like others, have called for a new commission to look into, not a political commission, I might say, to look into the 9/11, because that's when all of this perpetual war locked in, and that was because the neocons. And so who are the beneficiaries of 9/11? It obviously was the neocons in the military-industrial complex. Now, I could go into some of the details about Building 7 and others, but suffice it to say that if you really have a skepticism and a suspicion, all you got to do is follow the money. Who benefited from 9/11? Not the American people by any stretch of the imagination. Who benefited was the military-industrial complex and the neocons who were its advocates.
Do you know who Mike Gravel is, and would you consider him as a running mate?
The name kind of rings a bell, but I'm not real familiar with him.
He read the Pentagon Papers into the public record when he was a senator. He also ran for president in 2008.
Okay. But no, if I were, I'd be open. You just got to make sure that the person that you pick is qualified for the top job if something happens to you. It really comes down to being that simple. You pick, try to make it a strategic pick, certainly, something that can help get you both elected. Like, having a female is always smart now, and a Cynthia McKinney where you have a black female who's certainly qualified.
Yeah, I think Cynthia McKinney would be a great choice. She actually was the Green Party nominee in 2008, so I think that she would be a wonderful running mate. I think a lot of people would love to have her on the ticket with you.